Good morning, Dornbush download number 84. Andrew and not Dan, not Michael, not John, but
Brendan. Well, there you go. Been waiting for this experience for so long.
Brendan, I want you just to contain your excitement. I just want you to sort of hold it in. I can tell that you're just fighting to get in front of the camera here. Poor old April's just been, no, get away, get away. So for people who don't know, Brendan's our paraplaner. Brendan's been here for what, about 2 years, nearly 2 years now?
Yeah, getting there, close. Yep.
Scary stuff. So what a paraplaner does? Well, why don't you tell us what a paraplaner does? I probably have a different view to what a paraplaner does. What does a paraplaner do?
Well, pretty much a paraplaner writes up the plans. So a client comes in, sees the advisor. The advisor notifies me of the details and I write up a plan, and then the advisor ticks it off. We'll make some changes, but yeah. So that's pretty much the paraplaner role.
So really it's more about that technical knowledge and, you know, I mean, you and I work on the share ones, but in particular, say with Dan and Michael, where it's more financially planning based, knowing about, you know, pensions and transition to retirement and, you know, a lot more of that sort of technical type of stuff as well.
That's right, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And like, how long have you been paraplaning for? We'll get onto shares in a second. How long have you been paraplaning for?
Around 3 years. So first I started off part-time, but since coming to Dornbush, it's been full-time. So.
And you have a degree from USQ?
I do, yes.
And you brained it there, didn't you? Your GPA was some stupid number, like 6 point something.
Yeah.
So, and so prior to that, you've had a varied sort of work experience. What were some of the other things that you did?
I was about 15 years in cabinet making, so a long stint in that trade, and about a year underground coal mining, so a couple of different things there.
So what made you want to get into paraplaning? I mean, obviously, you know, working with your hands and being very handy relative to, you know, more of the cerebral, you know, these hands have never done a hard day's work in their life. What made you want to do that change?
Well, we had a house in central Queensland. We sold that. We had some money, and then I sort of thought, well, what are we going to do with it? So I just started reading up on shares, property investing, and that just got me, I guess, interested in that finance area. So
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You know, like I fell into this straight from going to uni, and yet, you know, you've sort of had that amazing change of life, if I can put it that way, but more importantly, following your passion. So,
that's right.
There you go. All that, Brendan. Didn't know we were going to talk about that, but that's really interesting. So today, what are we talking about?
Well, it's really the changes that have been going on in China regarding their imports, so exports from Australia that could be affected by a new tax. I believe they're putting on a 12% tax on certain products being imported into China. So yeah, so that's that could have an effect on some of the companies that we've been talking about in the past. Yes. And
so, like, I saw when the government announced these changes, and there was certainly no pre-warning. It basically just went, congratulations, here's this new import tariff. And I think anything over about $1,000 has basically been copping that. And there's pictures of Shanghai airport where they're getting through to customs control, and there's just bags of, dare I say it, crap everywhere where people, you know, and it's the grey market where people come to Australia, buy the stuff up, take it back and then resell it. That grey market's just going to be decimated. There are some things on what they call the positive list though.
That's right.
And so things like infant formula was on the positive list. So the positive list basically means that it's exempt from this. There was vitamins as well. They were exempt as well. But given that there has been no consultation, everyone's basically just assuming the worst. And as a consequence, how have some of those prices been going?
Well, you're looking at Blackmores, so they were at...
Here's the chart that Brendan prepared earlier.
That's right. Blackmores were around $200 a couple of days ago, and now I think they're about 170 odd.
But they went to what, $144 there on Monday or Tuesday. Bellamy's have got knocked about, and so their all-time high is about 16. They're about 920, 930 at the moment. A2 milk.
A2 milk. Yep.
So really, you know, one of the questions we've been getting asked by people is it the end of the China story for these companies? And it's a difficult one to answer because, like we said, they do appear to be making these rules up as they're going along. But if you have a look at, say, Bellamy's as an example, you know, Bellamy's has still got pretty strong earnings growth. It's still a very capital light model, as in they don't own any of the manufacturing stuff themselves. Bellamy's biggest issue is actually sourcing enough of the soy and, you know, whatever other product to actually put into the plants. So, you know, if they were to have another bad day and to dip below $9, I'd probably be inclined to maybe have a look at some more of them. Blackmore's, though, is a bit more of a tough one because it's got a pretty high PE as well. And they are also looking at getting into infant formula, but actually, you know, again, the manufacturing side, so there's more of a cost associated with that. So I'll probably have a chat to us, but certainly when there is fear out there and there's volatility out there, there is certainly an opportunity to be having a look at them. Would it be a big part of your portfolio? Absolutely not. But equally so, there's probably some opportunities there to be sort of having a bit of a look at that. Probably the other one that we should just touch on, and I know the boys over the last couple of weeks have been talking about it, is banks. So we saw Bank of Queensland come along, and here's the Bank of Queensland chart. Bank of Queensland came out with their results, and the Bank of Queensland result wasn't as bad as what people had been anticipating. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of fear, so coming back to Dan and Michael's comments over the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of fear that banks will actually be cutting dividends. And so Bank of Queensland really was the first cab off the rank in that regard, and they didn't cut their dividend. And their provisions for bad and doubtful debts was pretty steady. So from that point of view, I mean, I think Bank of Queensland around $11 looks interesting, but it is a good early sign, not a harbinger of doom, whatever the opposite of a harbinger of doom is, relating to upcoming profit reporting season for ANZ, NAB and Westpac, which sort of report there, is it early May from memory, isn't it?
So, yeah.
So certainly Bank of Queensland should be on your radar as well if you're looking for income. Otherwise, Brendan, thanks very much for telling us the life story. That was really interesting.
You're welcome.
Till next week.